too.
I think so too. You know,
He
but
could
again,
probably,
you're talking to
he
a
probably
fighter.
soaked some money away from Ryzen.
Yeah, he will still be famous enough there to make a good paycheck. I truly believe that. But yeah, he's not the Gomi anymore as we remember him. The fireball kid, as you said it. You know, he connected and he would knock you out. It's a shame. It's a shame. First he was fighting on Pride, and then Bushido came, and then that was his niche, right? Because it was the lighter weight.
It's a crazy. Again, you were there, so you can speak to it. But I don't know, man. I think to myself, prize fighting, the prize is it. You make enough money to support your family, give yourself a good quality of life, and then get out. Why do people keep fighting?
Because the money is gone, buddy.
But they're
we
never
were just talking about a German thing. They asked about the pays. I said, well, imagine you make 20 and 20. What you keep from that is nothing. 40% is gone, and I'm talking.
That's why all the MMA fighters want to go to boxing, man, because there is money there.
There is money there, but I think what Bellator is doing, they're throwing big numbers out as well. They got great paychecks, and now people start thinking, and that's when you have two organizations.
Right.
Slowly but surely it goes up. When Bellator gets bigger, they're gonna have to adjust the UFC because right now they can make double at Bellator almost.
Sure.
Plus they get all their
the sponsorship money, which there isn't as much as there once was. Let's not forget. 2008 came and destroyed a lot of people, and there was it Shane Carwin? Somebody's contract or terms were put on the internet or something, and a while back, like years ago in the UFC, before the UFC took away the Reebok, before the Reebok deal. Man, some of these companies were giving fighters a lot of cash.
A lot of money, yeah. Brandon Schaub was telling me he made more money with sponsors than they made with fighting.
Wow. Well, see, I don't know if those days are still exist, except for people like Conor McGregor, I guess. And now we know, again, why, like you say, there's, McGregor who made more money than any mixed martial artist already and then goes for the ultimate payday. You can't fault him. You can say the fact that it's happening is weird, and it is. It's in another universe, but I'm just.
It's all love from me, man. He puts a lot of eyeballs on mixed martial arts. It's great, and all the fighters should be very happy because everybody's screaming for money, and they're actually getting it, and it's all because he started this thing.
Yep. Now, this is rare, but it's happening Saturday night. Bellator in New York, UFC Fight Night 112 takes place at Chesapeake Energy Arena in Oklahoma City. That's on the Sunday night, so a weekend where there's both Bellator and UFC back-to-back. A rare Sunday. Well, not a rare. They've done it before, but I guess that's why, because 24th is Bellator. Makes sense. UFC goes on Sunday. We're going to see Michael Chiesa and Kevin Lee go at it. They already went at it at the press conference when Chiesa took umbrage to Lee's comments about Chiesa's mother. And you don't talk about anybody's mama. But man, these guys, this should be a barn burner. Chiesa has earned is coming up. Well, he's going to fight for the first time since April of 2016, and that's the other thing. MMA, I mean, you got to keep fighting, man. You guys got to fight. It's like boxing, too. Everyone, I know it's healthy. I don't want you guys, fighters to fight like they did in the old days and just perpetuate brain damage. But, man, you got to stay active, stay sharp. Chiesa, though, had issues with the back injury when he was supposed to fight Tony Ferguson, had to pull out from that fight in last July. But he's earned 5 victories in his past 6 outings, and has a win over Beneil Dariush, who's a tough fighter. Chiesa beat him via second-round submission. Lee is fighting in his first UFC main event after the biggest win of his career at UFC Fight Night 106 when he snapped the lengthy win streak of Francisco Trinaldo with a second-round phenom. Lee has now won 4 in a row, and he's finished his opponent inside the distance in 3 of those fights, boss.
With Chiesa, you were just talking about it, with Dariush, who's also a southpaw. He got low-kicked quite a bit. Now, Darius stopped with doing that. And Kevin Lee, I thought, okay, because he's orthodox. No, he's a switch hitter. So he also switches to southpaw stance. If I was him, I would work that leg, because the more you work the front leg, the harder it's going to be taken down. Since Chiesa, from his 14 wins, 10 submission victories. So he's good on the ground, but so is his opponent. He's got 7 submission victories, but that's from 15 wins. So I believe that Chiesa's probably better on the ground. I would see if I can keep it on the feet. Lee has a knockout victory as well. Keep him on the outside. As I always say, everything is the same. It's all about distance and movement right after you punch and just before you go. The wall came down here, fell on Vicky P. Woo, woo!
We're bringing down the house. I knew this podcast would tear the house down, boss. We are tearing down the house, my friend.
Wow.
All right. Anything else you want to say about that fight?
No, that's it. I truly believe that Lee is probably better as a standing fighter. Switch to southpaw, start working the front leg, so he can, with left low kicks, you can hit the right leg from Chiesa, and hopefully that's going to do something, and especially that's going to add up in the second round, because then it's going to be harder to be taken down.
Hey,
but
tearing
Chiesa,
down the house isn't as good as burning
right.
down the house.
I love that song.
From
both of them.
yeah.
Also, from Tom Jones, I love that one as well.
Yeah. Anyway, we got to. That was fun, by the way. Great stuff. We were on the stream of consciousness roll. We went through boxing. We went through MMA. We teased at a major third announcement for yours truly. But boss, we got to flip the page now and get serious, unfortunately, because and this is what puts life in perspective. I celebrate the best week I've had ever in my career, and yet people we know. Unfortunately, lost some loved ones. And before we get to the biggest tragedy of the weekend, I want to give a shout out to UFC Hall of Famer, one of the most dominant welterweight champions in UFC history, Matt Hughes, who's in stable condition after his van was hit by a train last Friday. His family posted something on Facebook. They said, "Our family's overwhelmed by the outpouring of love and support. Matt is stable and has no broken bones or internal injuries. He has some minor lacerations and bruising and is currently being weaned from his ventilator. He is not yet awake and not responding as we would like to see, but we see the light in the fight in him. Matt's strength and determination, along with God's mercy and grace, will bring him through this. We ask that you all continue to pray." Matt Hughes is 43, retired from the sport in January of 2013.
This guy is as tough as they come. What he went through his entire life, it will be very weird to me if he cannot come out of this. You know, he's such a it's a very much above average person. Yeah. The guy, the things that he did, Frank Trigg, lifting him up, slamming him. We all know this. You know, such an unbelievable guy. Great inside and outside the cage, the ring, whatever you want to call it. Yeah.
So we're
love,
for
prayers,
all of us.
Everything goes out to the family.
Rutten and Ranallo and our listeners, positive thoughts to UFC Hall of Famer Matt Hughes. Boss, terrible story that we have to talk about, and my heart aches because I knew Tim Hague. I had a chance to cover his career and talk to him on an occasion. The Canadian mixed martial arts community, not that big, and we were all excited and so happy to see him make it to the Octagon, the Ultimate Fighting Championship. But 34-year-old Tim Hague, a school teacher, father of a young son, passed away over the weekend after he suffered a knockout loss in a boxing match Friday night in Edmonton against Adam Braidwood, a former professional football player. I've seen the tape. I know that Hague was knocked down multiple times in the opening round, any one of which could have perhaps led to the stoppage of the fight.
If they had a 3 knockout rule, it would have not been happened.
Yeah.
You know?
And then in the second, he was punched very hard, head hit hard on the canvas. And it took a while for him to get out of the ring, but in the film, the tape, you see him walk out of the ring. Unfortunately, he was hospitalized and passed away. Just 34. It's heart wrenching, and you have to. I feel for Adam Braidwood.
I didn't know what I could say or do that would help in any way. I spoke to the Hague family in private and offered my condolences, and I want to do the same now publicly. I want to thank everyone for their support, all the kind words. Like, it makes a big difference. You know, this is really hard. All the theatrics leading up to this, Tim and I were friends. You know, we spoke beforehand. We just wanted to make a beautiful fight for everyone, and that's what this is all about. You know, it's one of those things that everybody saw me celebrating, but, you know, nobody saw me pick up Tim and carry him to the corner and tell him that I love him. And I just want everyone to try to help Tim's family. That's what this should really be about. Instead of leaving a comment, contact his family. And, you know, I know they set up an account. Help them any way that you can. And that's try to leave it at that. And, you know, nobody wanted this.
And he is stunned. He says that there's nobody to blame, but he knew that there was something wrong. There is going to be a third-party investigation of the commission and its handling of this. I mean, someone died here. And you don't want to... You want to make sure you know all the facts, of which I don't, but I've said this throughout my career as a combat sports broadcaster. We have all taken umbrage with premature stoppages. We've all criticized referees at one point or another. One punch too early is stopping a fight one punch too soon.
It's way better.
Way better than one punch too late.